Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another welcome to another episode of TEDXcellence, the show that I swear is not just an adjunct of DEI Death Watch, but tonight it might as well be. And I come to you live, as you can tell, from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Thursday. Second stream of the day. I'm a busy, busy boy today. Mine's a little bit confabulated. Discombobulated. And so here we are with another TEDx talk. And who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? The Assassin of the Gray. Good evening. Yes, as far as I can tell, you are first. Mike R. Hello. Captain JPS. Good evening. Advocatus Diaboli. Hello. Let's see who else is here. Noah Essentio. Good evening. Jay Blizza, hello. Keeverdam, hello, and thank you, Keeverdam, as always. Top of the chat box, guys, there is a GoFundMe to help out our friend Truckin' with a Tablet. He needs some help with some medical bills. He's not asking for much in the grand scheme of things. $700, of which right now he's got $105 raised. So if you have the ability, please do donate. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. So thank you ahead of time for that. And thank you, Keeverdam, as always, for providing the link. Hoot Owl. Good evening. Who else is here? Tack Alpaca, hello. Alexander the Scourge, or Tyrannus the Lich. Good evening. Miranda Stone is here. Guys, if you missed the stream earlier today, it's possible you haven't heard about Miranda Stone. So, just to cover all my bases. Draco Rincewind, hello. Who else is here? Green Death, good evening. The Dead Man, good evening to you. And I think that's everybody. And anybody else who's lurking, anybody in the future, good evening. So, as I intimated with my introduction, as fumble-stumbled as it was, tonight's episode deals with DEI. Now, as you may know, I have a show, a series I have on Mondays called DEI Death Watch, where I focus on DEI, because as much as that has become a hallmark of my channel and as much news as it happened in the last year or so in regards to that subject, it made more sense to just sort of cubbyhole it into its own little series. And when topics similar to that come up on TEDx Talks, I will occasionally indulge. I try to stay away unless it's something that really catches my attention, because I want to have a little variety in my life, and yours as well as viewers. But once in a while, when something as blatant as this comes out, I cannot help but wonder, okay, I'll bite. What do you have to say? Because the title of tonight's presentation is Why the DEI Backlash is Temporary and What Comes Next. And here's the thing. I don't necessarily disagree with that diagnosis. It is entirely possible that a subsequent administration, even a Republican one, may take their eye off the proverbial ball when it comes to trying to get rid of DEI, both in the federal sector and the private sector. So it is possible that the DEI backlash is temporary. So I am curious to find out what our speaker has to say about that and what her predictions might be for what happens afterwards. And thus my curiosity on the subject. So that's where we are tonight. Also, Unparalleled, good evening. But yes, tonight's bingo card is bingo card A. A as in Jedi, because that was the winner of the poll on the X machine. I said, what is tonight's favorite successor / iteration of DEI? And the three options were Jedi, Bridge, and Fair. Fair being the most recent of the three. Jedi won out by just a hair. I thought it was going to be Bridge, but things change. Simon Willikins, hello. I'm a little late because I was watching a cover of Sono Chi no Sadame, done with Windows alert sounds. Well, I can't blame you for that, I guess. Don't know if I could if I wanted to, but welcome. So get your bingo card A's ready. We're about to dive into, I presume, some expert of some form or another into the wonderful world of DEI. What's happening now and what happens in the future? I guess we'll hold her to account if she's right or wrong. This one clocks in at just over 12 minutes. So get your bingo cards ready. I'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed. Whoa. That was a little loud. Did you hear that musical cue? I don't know if that was native to the recording or if I had a hand in that and boosting the audio. So let me know in the chat you heard it. Advocata says he heard it. Well, if Advocata says so, then I suppose it's true. All right. So musical cue, St. Albans.
Have you ever walked into a room and thought, I do not fit in here?
Yes. Now, is this a result of imposter syndrome or just being an insecure, nerd-like child as I was? You tell me.
I'm feeling that way right now.
Your color scheme says a lot about that.
Too American for the British, too British for the Americans.
Is this in Britain? Too American for the British, too British for the Americans. Well, I'm an American, and thus far I haven't heard anything from you that makes me think you're British, so are you a dual citizen?
As humans, we have this almost visceral need to belong.
Yeah, I know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's true.
This craving to feel safe and included.
Yes. So DEI is just an extension of basic human instincts?
In our in-group of humans.
Uh-huh.
No one gets through life without feeling like an outsider.
I could make a crass joke here, but I'll avoid it. It's a family show.
But instead of allowing these natural feelings of exclusion and rejection to stop us,
we'll sacrifice our own values and morals just to feel like we belong?
What if we turn them into an opportunity to make a real difference?
I'm excited. I'm so excited that you're excited. What could this be? Please tell me how I can turn these base instincts into an opportunity to make a difference. I mean, if there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you want.
In the world.
No. Careful, don't step outside the red circle. There's a boundary.
You may or may not have heard about this DEI stuff.
Well, maybe a little bit, just a smidge. I've heard something about it. Yeah. Well, before we even begin with that, let's go over to the bingo card and circle free space. And I think it's safe to say DEI philosophy is going to be circled, so I'm circling that one. But while we're here, let's also review what we are listening for in the course of the talk. Remember, this is bingo card A, so get your bingo card A's ready. Links are in the description. Collectivizes own demographic. Human is too broad at this point to be called a demographic, so I'm going to wait on that one. Systemic or institutional. Sales pitch for product or service. Maybe. Childhood or family anecdote. Plays victim. Microaggressions or unconscious bias. Privilege. Contradicts own point or fails to make argument. Patriarchy. Deceptive statistics. Economic disparity. Feminism. Marginalized or marginalization. A list. White supremacy. Word salad. Self-vilification or wretchedness, I'd be surprised, but you never know. Weightless example or non sequitur. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. Mind reading or assumes motives. Benevolent condescension. Anecdote that probably never happened. And lastly, leaves out vital context. So far on the board, we have DEI, philosophy, and free space. Let's go.
In simple terms, DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
those are the simplest terms. Can you give us the functional definitions?
It was meant to be a good thing.
I gotta give her credit for the dramatic hand gestures. It was meant to be a good thing. Was it though? Was it truly meant to be a good thing?
But the way some people talk about it right now, you might think it's the worst thing ever.
I must be one of those people, because I do. So, how are you going to dispel me of my self-generated illusions?
The problem is, we've gotten DEI backwards.
Oh, so it's an IED? I thought it was okay. Did you think it was okay?
It should actually be IED.
Boom! There it is.
And I don't mean the thing that goes boom.
Okay. It's not the strongest case in the world, but still. All right. Well, okay. What do you mean?
Although the current DEI conversation certainly seems explosive.
Jazz hands. Man, this presentation has got it all.
The problem with our almost obsession with diversity is
Yes.
that it's just the bean counting of difference.
Well, you're not wrong, because diversity just equates to racial and gender quotas for the most part. Actually, that's pretty much it. It's just, you're essentially just doing a racial audit. When a DEI consultant or someone goes into a company and an organization and they have to do a survey in preparation for some DEI training, they're effectively just doing a population audit, seeing how many people of particular races there are, what the gender differential is, and that's it. And that tells them there's a problem that needs to be solved, obviously. So she's not wrong. She's not sugarcoating it quite.
How many of these types of people do we have?
Yes. And how does that jive with American law?
How many of those types of people do we have?
And by types, you mean?
But it's not the thing that's going to make a real difference.
But that is the thing that it does. So you're correct. It doesn't make, well, I mean, it makes a difference if you're just checking on difference as in the downward slope of quality of output and the destruction of merit. I mean, that's a difference. If you're talking about a positive difference, you're right, it's not going to make much of one.
That's why we need to focus on inclusion.
No. See, if you're confessing to the fact that diversity and its functionality in this context is not productive, it does not actually make a difference, as you say, then you need to remove it entirely. Now, we can talk about the other parts of the litany, but if you're going to say that the D, such as it is, doesn't work, so to speak, then it might as well be Lorena Bobbited. Now, if you want to talk about inclusion, let's talk about what inclusion actually means. What is your understanding of what inclusion means? And then we'll talk about what it actually means in this context.
Because if we focus on inclusion, equity and diversity will come.
I keep hearing that lately. That's not a new sales pitch. Now, define how inclusion works, would you?
I mean, who doesn't want to live in a fairer world with real opportunity for all?
People who promote DEI. Because DEI is not about fairness and it's not about equal opportunity. So while I had a little bit of hope with her definition of D in DEI, that maybe we were on something of the same wavelength, or maybe she was grudgingly having to admit to certain faults with the whole system. Now I feel like we're being dragged back to center stage.
If, like me, you care about DEI,
care in the sense that it be snuffed out like, a withering flame, yeah.
you might be really worried right now.
I hope so, in the context you're talking about.
Laws are being rolled back.
Laws are being enforced, mostly. Tell me what, well, I mean, if you're talking about affirmative action wasn't a law. And elsewise, I don't know what laws are being rolled back.
1 in 8 U.S. companies eliminated or reduced DEI programs in 2024.
Yes, and interesting you say 2024, because that was before Donald Trump took office. Well, you're more honest and realistic than many of the articles I read on the subject.
With more cuts coming.
Yes, and a good thing.
56% of hiring managers say DEI, just for PR, not real change.
Well, they would be right. It has been demonstrably just for PR because, well, you tell me, what has been the ROI on DEI?
DEI roles are disappearing, teams shrinking, and woke is being used as a political weapon on both sides.
Well, it's being used as a pejorative from one side to the other, but don't forget, woke was the self-defined term by the supporters. They called themselves woke. They called themselves enlightened and seeing the truth of the world. They elevated themselves above everybody else because they were just so smart. So smart as to try to implement bygone policies and belief systems. But I digress. Or do I?
Of the Atlantic.
Oh.
Pretty bleak, isn't it?
Yes. And I am here for it, as the kids say.
But in the next 10 minutes, I'll show you how you can keep DEI moving forward.
Oh, goody! Can't wait.
Let's take a tour of history.
Do we have to? Are you going to bring up, I don't know, pre-civil rights era stuff or the slave trade?
For centuries, people have dominated one another.
I'd hazard to say that for millennia, people have dominated one another. From the smallest tribal conflict up to world wars. But maybe she's going to talk about something specific.
Think alpha males, Genghis Khan, silverback gorillas.
Gorillas are people too, I guess. Sure. Thank you, Jay Blizza. The twist, she sells weights you can attach to your wrist, then flail your arms around to get jacked. I mean, she is essentially taking the opportunity on this stage to do her aerobics program. Which, I mean, I can respect that, Make the most of the time that you got. So, sure. Well, thank you, Jay Blizza. Appreciate it. Yeah, she might as well, like those little Velcro sand weight things you put on there. Oh, also, a Fostonia is here. I clicked on Fostonia by accident, but it was a happy accident. Hello, Fostonia. Anybody else in the meantime that I missed? A random American, hello. And it's Trucking with the Tablet. And thanks for the GoFundMe chat. No problem, dude. All the best, everybody. Again, take a look at the top of the chat box. Link up to the GoFundMe for Trucking with the Tablet to help out with his medical bills. He's not asking much. $700. Not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So please, if you can, do so. All right.
The dominated rise and become the new dominators.
Yes, it is the ebb and flow. And please do not tell me that DEI is the salve to the curse that is power dynamics.
Cycles like these have always existed. Imbalances, unfairness, in-group power dynamics.
And if you start selling DEI as the cure, I tell you what, I've got a few things to say.
But set aside history for
Okay, I'm happy to.
a moment.
Okay.
And consider your own family story.
My own family story. In what fashion?
Was there a time when you or your relatives were less powerful
Yes.
or excluded from the dominant group?
The dominant group? You mean financially stable? What? Okay.
How did that shape your life?
It gave me an appreciation for hard work and the dollar. It also taught me that despite all the right moves you could possibly make, circumstances beyond your control and the unfairness of the world can strike down even the most well-meaning family. Yeah, and
And your feelings of self-worth and belonging.
I don't know that what you're talking about is applicable in my particular example, but okay.
Most of us can relate to being on the losing side at some point.
Yes.
We suppress those memories,
No.
try to rise above them.
Yes.
But how often do we consider that we might have become part of the dominant group?
And I hypothetically should what? Feel bad about making good above the obstacles in my life? And by dominant group, what are you talking about?
Sometimes without even noticing.
Oh my God, we are all secret villains. Success equates to evil!
Sit with that discomfort.
I'm not discomforted. I'm honestly kind of embarrassed for you, but I mean, I can sit with that if you'd like.
We'll return to it.
I'm sure we will.
History shows that DEI progress and backlash are cyclical.
Wait. DEI progress. Okay, so now I can only assume you're going to equate DEI with the general trend of civil rights in the world. Yes? You must have springs in your shoes to make that kind of leap.
In the 18th century, abolition and women's rights movements began.
That was not DEI. DEI is not about equal opportunity. DEI is about equality of outcome and assessing people's value on the basis of their skin color or their gender, and lowering standards to make all the numbers look good. Those are the three mechanisms of DEI. You've already lost before you've really begun by trying to say that abolition and early women's rights movements like suffragettes and all that is DEI? No.
But by the 19th century, slavery, patriarchy, and exclusion fought back hard.
Okay, well, circling patriarchy on the bingo card. Not often that we hear the word said so decisively, but it does happen. Okay, let's see. Looking at the card real quick. Privilege. I'm gonna wait. See if she says anything more definitive. So, again, on the card so far, and there's a lot of things that are almost there or just about. Bingo card A, DEI, philosophy, patriarchy, and free space, but there's probably more.
In the late 19th century, slavery was abolished. And some suffrage gained. Yet apartheid and segregation laws, racial violence, and misogyny took root.
You know what? I'm going to circle contradicts own point and fails to make argument, because already, like I say, if she's going to equate DEI with actual movements and events that dealt with equalizing opportunity, then she's already lost the game. The core of her argument about halfway through her talk is already failed.
In the 20th century, white women, and later black women, won the vote. And black institutions grew. But discrimination and segregation kept progress slow.
Okay, I'm going to circle systemic or institutional, because both in word and in sentiment we're basically there.
The 1960s and 70s saw landmark civil rights laws enacted, but were also met with fierce resistance.
Yeah, tell me about what the Civil Rights Act of 1964 said, specifically in Title VII and Title VI, and tell me how those square with DEI. Or do they?
But were also met with fierce resistance and rollbacks.
DEI is the resistance and the attempted rollback of the civil rights movement. That's what it is. It has been operating in defiance of established civil rights laws, and it fights back against the tenets of Title VI and Title VII just on the nature of what it is. It decries things like the end of affirmative action, which was race-based admissions policies. You talked about DEI being done backwards. You have got it completely backwards.
It can feel like a yo-yo.
Yeah, it does feel like we're regressing back to a time before 1964 because of DEI.
Progress, then regression.
Yeah, and which stage are we in right now?
But overall, we move forward.
I can only hope so.
So where are we in the current DEI cycle?
The notion that she's pushing that DEI is on the same plane as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 chafes me to my core.
And why does it feel like we're going backwards right now?
It is opposite day. She was right about one thing at the top of this talk. It is opposite day.
According to social scientists like Pecoraro Sorokin and Oswald Spenger,
sure, argument to authority of people I've never heard of before.
They noticed that history moves in waves.
Wow! Oh, how insightful! Oh, I hadn't noticed. Yeah. And DEI is the downslope.
Periods of progress,
Prior to DEI,
then pushback.
DEI being implemented.
Every big step towards equality,
Civil Rights Act up through about 2012.
triggers a resistance from the people and structures defending the status quo.
And then we have DEI.
After the financial crisis of 2008, our
Yeah.
world entered a new era.
Men.
Institutions weakened,
Really? Which ones?
political divides grew,
I think you might be about 8 years too early for a lot of that, but
and society polarized.
I'm just gonna let it sit.
Movements like Me Too and
Which, whoa. 2008 to 2017 is a bit of a jump. That's a bit of a jump. Yeah, Me Too became a thing circa 2017. So when I said, yeah, you're about 8 years too early on saying that everything became polarized, I wasn't too far off the mark, was I?
Me Too and Black Lives Matter rose to prominence.
Well, Black Lives Matter was more a 2012, 2014 thing. So, yeah. And tell me about the honesty of Black Lives Matter. Tell me about the longevity of Me Too. You want to tell me about those?
But were also met with fierce backlash and resistance.
And there was good reason for it. Because Me Too became a male victimized witch hunt. And Black Lives Matter was always a con job. Or have you not been paying attention?
It can feel like the pendulum keeps swinging back.
Tell me about it.
But cycles like these are normal.
Okay, you've repeated yourself in this sentiment about 3 times now. I get it. What's your point?
They're how societies adapt and eventually grow stronger.
I can only hope.
It's tough to hear, but things might get worse
Good.
before they get better.
Okay. Will you now present us with some, I don't know, examples or an argument or a prediction?
Backlash is simply a natural part of social change.
Established civil rights laws not being enforced long enough for a completely antithetical philosophy to take root is not backlash, it's laziness. I usually only have to do this during DEI Death Watch, but let me read a quote from Thomas Sowell. When people get used to preferential treatment, equal treatment seems like discrimination. What you're seeing is not backlash. It is a righting of the ship. I can only hope that that continues.
It can come from oppressed groups pushing back against their oppression,
Oh, and who's the oppressed ones in this scenario?
or from those resisting change.
Uh-huh. Do you have an example you'd like to throw out there?
Most of us can relate to being oppressed or excluded from the dominant group.
Uh-huh. I did grow up as a shy nerd. I know something of that, yes.
We like to think of ourselves as the good ones.
Okay, I'm circling benevolent condescension. I'm not sure how benevolent it is, but I certainly feel condescended to. Also, mind reading assumes motives. Okay.
We're on the right side of history.
I support the Civil Rights Act of 1964 in defiance of DEI. I feel as though, yeah, in that case, yes.
But if we're being honest,
What do you mean we, white woman?
are we sometimes the ones holding privilege and power over others?
Well, you know, in the bedroom. Anyway, what do you say about it? I don't know. Are you being a little condescending right now?
I wonder if you see that.
Sorry.
In yourself.
Do I see it in myself? Boy, you're having me question my own sense of morality. Jeez, am I on the wrong side of history? What would cause you to think that? Or make that accusation? Who are you talking about exactly?
I know I do.
Oh, uh-oh, well then. Is that self-vilification or wretchedness? Let's give it a second.
As a woman, I face discrimination.
Oh my gosh, really? As a woman, you also enjoy several privileges that men don't in society and under law. Don't you?
Yet as a white person, I hold privilege and power over others.
Just as a reflex of having the skin color I do. Okay, so self-vilification or wretchedness and also circling white supremacy. Ay, caramba. All right. Collectivizes his own demographic. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty there, circling that one. And plays victim. I'm obviously oppressed because I'm a woman. So yeah, boy, oh boy. All right, so far on the board, guys. Bingo card A, we have collectivizes his own demographic, systemic or institutional, DEI philosophy, plays victim, contradicts own point or fails to make argument, patriarchy, free space, white supremacy, self-vilification or wretchedness, mind reading assumes motives, and benevolent condescension, and we're probably on the edge of a couple more, but let's keep going.
Even if I never intended it.
Yeah, you're just a sinner. You know, original sin. Your skin color determines the content of your character. Yeah, that's just the way it is for this, white people situation.
That's how society works.
That's how society works. If you're a particular skin color, we know exactly the kind of person you are, whether you want to be or not. Yep, I guess that's just the way it is. There's no avoiding it.
It shapes us.
If you say so, speak for yourself.
And just because you're advocating for DEI,
which I'm not,
doesn't make you immune.
No, because as we know, anti-racism is not about not being racist, it's just about confessing your inherent racism.
We all have unconscious bias.
Oh, unconscious bias! Oh my gosh, this lady's hitting all the numbers here in the last stretch. Let's see, where is... Oh, microaggressions or unconscious bias. On the board. Oh, we're one square away. One square away from a bingo. If she effectively leaves out vital context, which we might get to at the end, we've got a bingo.
Without realizing it.
Uh-huh.
I used to think that I was one of the good DEI champions.
Uh-oh, but then one day...
Until,
yeah?
15 years ago.
15 years ago? So before DEI was even in common parlance. Oh, that's right. You associate DEI with all of the actual good advancements in civil rights. Pardon me. I got confused there for a second. I was operating on the actual temporal plane and not fantasy land.
I changed careers.
From what to what?
After over a decade of working on Wall Street, I joined a fast-growing restaurant group.
Wait. Did you move from being a stockbroker to a waitress?
It felt like a promotion and a chance to be myself.
I will credit this lady. She is exceedingly animated and confident on stage. The points in her favor. Entertaining presentation, if nothing else.
Ditch the power suits and make a real difference.
Make a real difference in the restaurant industry.
Shortly after I joined the company, my boss who hired me left.
Okay.
His replacement, let's call him Aiden.
Let's call him Aiden Quinn?
Was tough.
Okay.
Proud of being a rough and tumble type. And from the wrong side of Dublin.
Is there a right side of Dublin?
He was a bully, and he told us so.
Okay. This has taken an oddly personal turn.
As I had the unpleasant task of making Aiden successful.
He wasn't already successful having succeeded your previous boss?
In his new role.
So you were the power behind the throne in some fashion? What?
I did what any other self-respecting human resource professional would do.
You quit.
I did exactly what Aiden told me to do.
Well, if he is your boss, then yes.
Aiden gave me a list of problem people. People he wanted gone.
Okay, well, not knowing exactly Aiden's position, I'm going to assume he had the authority to hire and fire as he saw fit. Granted that there wasn't something untoward going on. Is that where we're going?
From the business. So I worked my way through the list, and one by one, I fired close to 20 people.
Okay. I'm waiting for the other ideological shoe to drop here.
Months later, I was looking around the senior leadership table.
And you did not see the melanin makeup that you would have preferred. Or perhaps the genital.
And I realized only one woman was left.
Oh my God. Okay, well, what was the demographic makeup of his firing list?
Me.
Okay.
Without noticing, I had fired all of the other senior women.
So wait, he gave you a list of 20 names and they were all senior women. And it took you months to notice this. And yet you still had your job. Okay.
If I can do that,
Which you did.
unconsciously,
It wasn't unconscious.
To other women.
Okay, so not having told us the criteria for why he wanted these people let go, and also taking it on faith, and it is a grand extension of faith here, that your story is accurate. You did what you were told to do, and you still have your job. Keep going.
What might I be doing or ignoring with people who are trans, non-binary, gay, neurodiverse, people of color?
I don't believe you. I do not believe this anecdote of yours. It's far too dramatic. It's far too self-serving. I simply don't believe it. Circling anecdote that probably never happened.
Or disabled.
Or disabled. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess you can never really want to fire anybody, because since you've covered nearly every specific demographic short of, say, men, which could fall into any of the other categories, basically, save for women, I guess HR really isn't the place for you.
We are all part of the problem.
Speak for yourself, sister.
But we are all also
a part of the solution.
Part of the solution.
But
we all have unconscious bias.
You've already said this.
That's stopping DEI progress.
DEI is not progress. DEI is regress.
So what do?
I don't know. What do you do? Make sure you hire people specifically on the basis of their gender? What are you recommending be done?
Especially if you care about fairness inclusion.
These manipulative tactics to try to make DEI sound like it's something good, they're just so weak. They're so weak. Associating positive sounding words with DEI. No.
First of all,
that sounds like a list. Circling a list on the board. Oh my gosh, okay.
Do not give up.
I haven't. Nigh on 10 years, I haven't given up. And I haven't taken it on faith that a good deal of backlash is going to last.
Be in action.
Every week.
Second of all, observe, monitor, and make sure your unconscious bias does not stop you from being in action.
So constantly second guess myself in every decision I make on the off chance that I think I might be making a decision on the basis of unconscious bias, which I wouldn't be aware of in the first place, because that's that whole unconscious thing. How am I to function in life? How do you function in life?
If you experience unfairness, use it as an opportunity to help someone else out.
If I experience unfairness, use it as an opportunity to help someone else out. Could you give me a scenario?
Share what you've learned about unconscious bias and privilege with friends, family, colleagues.
Well, after a fashion, I have been. With my YouTube channel.
Conversations add up. Support those you've helped and help them support others.
Like a pyramid scheme.
Communities grow resilient when people look out for one another.
This is all very ambiguous so far. Where's the positive change again?
You don't need permission or a special title.
Advocatus, I circled privilege a long time ago. So, not to worry.
You just need to start. And finally, remember this. You do not have to win over 100% of people to the DEI cause, or even half. According to researchers at Harvard.
Researchers at Harvard. Oh my God. All right, hold on. All right, I clicked on my window and it started moving around the screen with my mouse and it like got all jumbled. Back up here.
To the DEI cause, or even half. According to researchers at Harvard, it only takes mobilizing just 3.5% of people to bring about lasting change.
Okay, now is that deceptive statistics or is that just a general rule about things that she's applying here? See, I don't know if that's deceptive because she's saying, okay, hold on.
That's all.
That's all.
So let's do this DEI thing together.
That's it. Okay. That's it. Okay. Okay. Well, that was decidedly unsuccessful as a presentation, but I guess I wasn't expecting anything more. So let's move on to the bingo card. If that's all she's got, that's all I've got. Let's see. Okay, so, oh, I didn't even notice in the middle of everything else. I think that's when I circled microaggressions or something. Yeah, we have a bingo, if you can believe it. Oh my God.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
All right, so let's go over the bingo card one more time. I'll do it myself. If you guys have any arguments for squares yet to be circled, just hold on to your arguments. I'll get to you momentarily. Sales pitch for product or service. I was surprised she didn't promote herself as like a DEI consultant or something. So, childhood or family anecdote? Nope. Deceptive statistics. Okay. She was using a sort of generalized truism, and that's what I'm going to take it as, and try to apply it to this situation. Does that make it deceptive? Because like saying, the sky is blue every morning, and blue is a beautiful color. It's like, it takes 3.5% of people to make real change in something or to start a movement or whatever. And it's like, well, that could be true all by itself in the absence of a DEI argument. So is it deceptive? Or is it just a weightless example? Economic disparity. I mean, she brought up the 2008 economic crisis and divisions, but she didn't really bring up. I usually reserve that for something like bringing up specifically like pay gaps and things like that. So, and when she did bring up like differentials in power dynamics, she was talking in very general terms, the dominant group versus someone else. So I can't recall if she ever brought up actual economy. You guys tell me. Feminism, yeah, she brought up like women's rights movements and women getting the vote and so on. So in the actual, productive sense of the term, feminism. So circling that one. Marginalization. She didn't say the words, but obviously that sentiment was there when it came down to looking around and seeing who wasn't there and who's been diminished and so on. Or what kind of people would I hire or fire? Okay. Word salad. Yes, with her. Okay, it was the pendulum swinging thing. The 2 or 3 times that she said the same thing over and over again. And then at the end, yeah, her conclusion was just fluff. Absolute fluff. Okay. Weightless example or non sequitur? Yeah, I think that's where the 3.5% one fits. I don't know that it's deceptive so much as it was just non-applicable to this situation. Because DEI has been going on for years and years and years and years. And she even talked about at the beginning how many companies had been divesting themselves or retreating from it. So if she's been encouraging people to take it on, well, it has been. And yet we have backlash. So what is she talking about? Also, the Me Too stuff and the Black Lives Matter stuff, like that's equating to what exactly? But anyway, with that, if you can.
Bingo.
What?
Of course!
Okay, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. She didn't say anything very memorable to me, and she didn't bring up something that sounded novel. Oh, did you know that history moves in waves and backs and forths? Okay. And lastly, leaves out vital context. Yeah, what was her... Well, I mean, okay, so I can't do fails to make argument because she already did that and already circled that. Leaves out vital context. What did she bring up that I didn't have and needed? Well, part of me wants to say her watershed moment discovery that she was on the wrong side of history regarding the people that she fired on the orders of her boss. I mean, were they fired without cause? I don't know. Is that enough? I don't know. I'm going to leave it there. If you guys have arguments for squares to be circled, put them in the chat now. And if I miss your argument, please just repost it. I will attempt to get back to you. Let's see. Scrolling up a little bit. Green Death. That number feels a tad made up to me, to be honest. I don't know. It sounds similar, like to the old. What is it? The old adage: if you take a 1,000 monkeys or something, and if you teach 3 or 4 of them how to do a thing, then simply by observation and repetition, that's enough to sort of cascade effect an entire learning process. So it doesn't sound out of bounds from things I've been told before. I don't know if it's actually true, but then, as I said, it wasn't so much deceptive as just applied in a very awkward way that doesn't really mean anything. So let's see. Oh, Roan Harushan is here. Hello, Roan Harushan. Let's see. Leaves out vital context. How did she not realize she was given a list of all the women on the board? Or all of the senior women? But that just plays an anecdote that probably never happened, though. So that's more a question of validity than it is leaving out vital context. So that's why the anecdote doesn't make any sense. So Green Death, fair enough. Yeah, like I say, in the context that she used that statistic, it didn't seem like it was trying to be manipulative so much as she was trying to encourage change. But it was such a out of left field and last minute kind of thing. Her conclusion was terrible. Of everything else, her conclusion and wrap up of suddenly silent. That was pretty bad. Let's see. New buzzword, IED instead of DEI. Well, I mean, that was kind of the main premise of her talk. I mean, she completely failed at making even a coherent argument about it, but it's a bingo square, so I don't know. Okay, all right. Well, she dwelled on it for a little bit, even if she veered off into La La Land shortly thereafter. But she made a point of it at the beginning. So, all right, I will be a generous person in the dominant position, I guess.
I had a dog, and his name was...
What?
I had a dog, and his name was...
Of course!
All right, so there we go. And so, sales pitch for product or service. No, childhood or family anecdote. She never brought it up. Deceptive statistics. I didn't really hear any. Economic disparity. That's the only one where I'm kind of like... I mean, like I say, she referred to the 2008 economic crisis, or financial crisis, but she just then used that as a vehicle to talk about divisions and separations culturally and socially in the country and lack of faith in institutions. She didn't really talk about the divisions in actual economy. So then she never talked about like pay gaps or people getting paid more or less than others. So not sure that works. And then leaves out vital context. See, the problem here is that, except in some very specific instances, her sentiments were so abstract and vague, and she gave so few actual concrete examples of anything that I'm not sure that vital context for what little she gave us applies. Unless I'm missing something. Also, it's a double bingo square, so whatever the argument is, it's got to be... Actually, triple bingo square. Sorry, triple bingo square. Yeah, so if you have an argument for leaves out vital context, it has to be rock solid. I'm not going to do it on a whim. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? I'm actually kind of disappointed. I was hoping for some far more practiced and polished argument here. I've read better DEI or pro DEI arguments recently in some of the articles we've done in Bloomberg and otherwise. This talk was pretty weak. I mean, I could have, and this is a sad thing to say, I could have made a better, stronger argument in favor of DEI than our speaker, I think. I could have held my nose and used all the talking points at my disposal to make a far better argument. But that's what we got. That's what we got. Let's see. Anything else? Somehow she dodged a WTF. She just seemed like a Kool-Aid drink. Yeah, it was just, I didn't, nothing like made me go, bleh, or anything, but it was just so boring. It was just fluff, you know? And I mean, I guess that, as with so many other DEI proponents as we've listened to before, if that's the best you've got, then DEI doesn't have any foundation to survive, thankfully. Problem is, it's still going. And without serious consequence and accountability, it will continue to go. That's my fear. It's also why I keep pounding the drum for what little good it does. Hoodal. Oh, sorry. I already read that. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, there you go. That's the bingo card as we had it. We got 1, 2, 3 bingos out of the deal. Maybe on the precipice of 3 more, but there wasn't a whole lot there to hold on to. So there you go. Now, I will say this talk came out of the blue at the last second. I had a different one picked out, as was the case the other week. And so I'm wondering if I might not bring that up sometime in the near future just as a one-off. We'll see. We'll see. But after 2 streams today, I think I've done more than enough. Oh, here we go. Deceptive statistics. The 3.5% rule is specifically about nonviolent protest against an authoritarian government affecting change. Well, at the risk of being a cheerleader for our speaker, does that not apply to her interpretation of what DEI is and what it is fighting against? See, this actually goes towards her use of it from her perspective. So that's, yeah. So from her POV, that use of that statistic actually makes perfect sense. Not to rain on the parade, Ostsand, but actually you just galvanized her use of it. It's still a non sequitur, but, or is it now not a non sequitur? Uh-oh. Do I have to take back a square? Sand, did you inadvertently just kill a bingo? I think maybe you did. How dare you? Yeah. If I'm being honest, well, Advocatus, is it a non sequitur? I mean, if it is actually on point to her argument, means it's not a non sequitur. Oh, controversy. Does extra information from the chat actually reverse a bingo square? You know what? I'm going to leave that to the Discord server discussion. Yes, guys, if you did not know, I have a Discord server. So I'm going to put a poll up on the Discord server on this very point. And we'll see what you guys have to say about it in the meantime, because that is an interesting question. Would you like to join the Discord server? Link to the Discord server is in the chat right now. Click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word tells me that you actually watched the stream, are not a bot, and thus are in the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is hello, Mr. Black. Just say, hello, Mr. Black, so I keep things consistent between the last stream where I did a Discord thing. So if somebody watches that in the near future and then tries to join, I don't get confused. So just say, hello, Mr. Black, and that's all I'll need to know. Outside of that, by the way, there is a super-duper secret stream. Well, it's not going to be super secret soon as I figure out the time frame. On Saturday, as far as I have it right now, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, Andy, the Toy Master Masterson, will be joining me as we talk about our top 3 solo comic book characters. Yes, we're going to discuss comic book characters, our favorite ones. I put the challenge to it that of our top 3, they all couldn't be from the same comic book continuity. So if we pick a character from Marvel Comics in our top 3, the other 2 cannot be from Marvel Comics. So I've picked out my Marvel, I've picked out my DC, and now I got to figure out, golly, who from a non-mainstream comic book line do I consider to be a strong solo character? And then in what order would I put them? I guess we'll find out on Saturday. So look forward to that Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll have a link up soon-ish, either later today or tonight or tomorrow. I'll get that cooked up, so look out for that. And outside of that, look forward to seeing you on Monday. Monday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern time for DEI Death Watch. We'll take a look at the downfall and the doubling down of DEI in the news and elsewise. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or at the top of the chat box, guys, the GoFundMe to help out Trucking with the Tablet with his medical bills. Thank you guys so much for your consideration there. Hope you all have a good rest of your Thursday and Friday. Hope you all have a good weekend ahead of you. Hope to see you on Saturday, and I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.